Enameling is a special craft work, and it's always together with some metal and some very, very thin glass. Glass melted with metal oxides, and we use a piece of gold, silver or copper, and put a very, very thin sheet of enamel on it, burn it, and then it's shiny, and the metal looks through the enamel when it's translucent. This is called longing for something else. Everybody has a longing for something, and I have made several longings, and I always make a round thing, and it means God or heart, the heart, or something in a center, and through this middle thing there come out all what the longing shall be.
I see. Now,
and here it's made on a copper plate, and melted very thin with enamel powder. And I made a design, and after the design I have drawn, I have very small tools, and make this with very thin or thicker wires. Here I used very thick wires. Usually I use very thin wires like here. And now there are very small holes when it's burned in the wire.
Okay.
And later on I fill all these holes with colored enamel.
Enamel. So that's, is it not a glass?
Enamel powder. It's like glass. And I burn one of these pictures. It's a lot of work. I have to burn it 5, 6 or 7 times, because I always must do it very, very thin, that it's shiny. When I put the color on thicker, it's not shiny, and it looks damp and not very good. When I first have started, it was after the World War II, and I wanted to be a sculptor. I worked for 1 year with a sculptor together, and he wanted me to learn how to draw special things. And I had to go in an art school. It was in Schwäbisch Gmünd. First I was in Stuttgart, and I was in the art school in Schwäbisch Gmünd and saw the first time enamel. And I saw it and knew that's what I wanted to do. And I never wanted to be any more a sculptor. I only wanted to do enameling. And I didn't ask my parents and nobody. I ran there, knocked to Professor Lochmüller. He did this enamel and said, I want to do enamel. And he says, yes, but you must show what you can do first. And I had to draw some things, and then he took me. And I studied with him for 6 semesters for 3 years. And I learned goldsmith and silversmith and all techniques of enameling.
And then from that time?
And later on I had a workshop, our own workshop, and worked together with silver and goldsmiths. And we did a lot for Catholic churches in the time, chalices and tabernacles. And I made a lot of jewelry, enamel cloisonné. Yes, and I worked until I had my second child. And then my kiln was broken. And my husband was quite happy then. And then I had child number 3 and child number 4. But now they are grown up. So my husband died 10 years ago. And I started 5 years ago to do it again. I never thought before I would do it again. And I'm so happy to do this. And when I started to do it, I worked day and night and couldn't stop. And I came out at 3 o'clock in the morning, brushing my teeth, washing my hands, and working the whole day.
My goodness.
Couldn't stop. Lot of weeks, I couldn't stop. It was like I have missed all the 30 years. To do a piece like this, it makes perhaps 2 or 3 weeks. It's quite a long time to work, because between I always must clean it in acid. Mm-hmm. And it must be all done very clear and you can't hurry up.
There are no shortcuts.
No, you need quite concentration to do it.
Do you draw your design first on paper?
Yes, I draw it on paper, and then I make a drawing how to do the wires.
Oh, I see.
It must be a special drawing, how to do the wires. And when I have done this, I make a colored design with watercolors. And when I have done this all, I start to do the enamel. Therefore, it's a long, long process to do it.
Are there many American enamelists?
No. Now we have every 2 years an international exhibition for enamelers for the whole world. And I was there in June, July, about for a week. And there were Chinese and Japanese and from whole Europe. But there were only 3, but they were not there, her works were there. And only one lady I met there. And they came all from California. Oh. But no one from whole America. And I wondered so very much why. I'm not sure. Don't they know it? Or where are they? I should like to give lessons and learn people how to make special techniques, but I think I can do it. I'm going to be 60 now. When I did this picture, I was very, very unhappy. And therefore it's calling tears are falling on the sun. But they are all very big, my tears. But I thought there must be some sun. And then I made the sun and the tears. The sun is drying all the tears.
Oh, well, that's very nice. So did it turn out to be a happy?
They are we now. They are only here in the picture.
What's the name of this piece?
Tears are falling on the sun.
That's very
I don't know if it's good translated.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's in Germany, Tränen fallen auf die Sonne. This picture I made for freedom. And we often see that the world or life is so black like here and all seems to be so dark. And here is the sun coming to the darkness with that little dove and brings shelby happiness and light and freedom to the world. That's my picture for freedom, and the sun is in it. And
when did you make that? When did you make this?
About 3 years ago. And now perhaps I can say it. There were a young student, and he had a face. It was red on this side, and it's a birthmark. He had a very nice face, and he said to me, I want to buy this picture. And I said, I don't think you could buy it, it's expensive. And he said, I will pay to you, and I have every month I have some money, and I only need stamps. I will give you all money what I have. And I tried to send him a photograph. I said, when I go back to Germany, I send you a photograph. He said, no, I pay that picture. I paid, but I can't pay it at once. I pay every month something. And I reduced the price very much now, because I want he shall have it. And I think this young, and I said, why do you want to have it and not another picture? You are so young. And he said, I can see the light is coming to the darkness. And he looked so serious. And I think it's because his birthmark, when children are often not very nice together. And I think some young students or children have spoken with him and made joke about this. And now he shall have this one. It's my piece, Stonehenge. And it's made in, it's built in England. My husband liked it very much. He liked all what Celtic people has made, and we traveled several times to see it. And when we have been there, first time, perhaps 30 years ago, it stood quite alone in a field, big stones in a circle, and we were so very much impressed. It's wonderful. And this is a trilitone. It's one of the stones from the circle, and it's called trilitone because there's 3 stones. And it's like a calendar. The Celtic, it's a very, very special and clever calendar. And always on the 21st of June, the sun is rising between these 3 stones. You know it well. It's always the same. And you know it. Why? And it's made about 8,000 before Christ. We don't know it exactly. And I love this place very, very, very much. But when I there was the last time, perhaps 4 years ago, now it's all full of cars and you can't see it, and it's so terrible. People come from the whole world, and all the silence is away now. And I made this picture only for remember Stonehenge and for the Celtics. And these are the eyes for people who can understand and see what happened there all over 100 and 100 and 100 years.
When you go back, will you make an enameling of America?
I can't say it now, perhaps. See, I never know what I do before, only when I have something ordered. But I think about it and suddenly I do it. It may be.